right, Shalom. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who taught me this truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm back with another quick lesson through the Holy Spirit of Rakakwadash. This is from CNN.com. This is a rare sunset total solar eclipse will occur for millions of people on Wednesday, and that's today, August 12th, 2026, all right? So a part of being occupied in prophecy is also paying attention to the signs that the Lord has given us, all right, from the heavens, all right? We've had many solar eclipse, okay, planetary alignments, unusual occurrences that have been happening in the heavens, So all these things that, that's been going on all contribute to the return of the Lord, All right, this is Acts 2:19. And it reads, it says, and I will show wonders in heaven above. All right, so like we were talking about, all right, the solar eclipse, strawberry moons, red moons, blood moons, okay, planetary alignments, things of that nature. All right. It says, and I will show wonders in heaven above, and signs in the earth beneath, blood and fire and vapor of smoke. The sun should be turned into darkness, right? That's the eclipse. And the moon into blood, all right? Blood moons before the great and notable day of the Lord come, all right? NLT, Acts 2:20, it says the sun will become dark and the moon will turn red before the great and glorious day of the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shah arrives. All right. So these are the things that, the Lord is showing us. All right. That boost our faith. Okay. So the scriptures say, not to be dismayed at the things that happen in the heavens. Right. Let me get that too. Because, everybody's like, it's more of an entertainment thing to these people that are not in the know, But we understand that it's prophecy, that it's the signs that the Lord is getting ready to visit the world which he made. And we'll get that too. All right. Jeremiah 10:2, it says, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. See, because we understand why these things are happening. We're not bugging out about it. We're not, all up in arms about it. We understand that these are the signs that the Lord gave us, all right, that determine his arrival, right? This. And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them, you see? So let's read 2 Ezra chapter 9, right? This is 2 Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1, and it reads, it says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest parts of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. All right, so these different signs, all right, things that are happening in the heavens, all right, blood moons, planetary alignments, all right, the sightings of the chariots, all these different things. All right, these are the signs that the Lord has given us, right? That show us that he's beginning to visit the world which he made. Okay, verse 3. Therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, right? You just had a major earthquake in, I believe it was in Colombia. All right, and you had one, from what I remember, I think it was in Thailand. All right, but there's been major earthquakes all around the world, okay, daily. It says, therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then should thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. This is what we're saying. All right. So through those signs, again, the Lord is showing you that the end of this world is manifest. Okay. Verse 6, Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. You see that? Endings in effects and signs, right? So I just wanted to read this in the chat real quick, okay? So I had it in the chat. I had chat give insight to these same verses that we just read here. So it says, 2 Ezra 9, 1-6 is a powerful passage because it gives a framework for recognizing the approach of the end rather than giving Ezra a specific calendar date, right? Number 1, measure thou the time diligently. The instruction begins with careful observation. Measure thou the time diligently in the self. The idea is not simply to watch one isolated event. Ezra is told to measure the progression of events against the signs previously revealed. You see that? The key phrase is, when thou seest part of the signs pass. That means the signs would occur progressively. The appearance of part of the predicted signs would indicate that the generation was moving into the period being described. This connects strongly with Yahushua's teaching, Matthew 24:33. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know it is near, even at the doors. You see that? So when we see all these things taking place, we know that the end is even at the doors. All right? Remember, we live in a time where the Lord is making, he's cutting the time short. Things are speeding up. All right? It says the emphasis is therefore on discernment, not date setting, right? And you got to have the discernment to see, all right, to understand the signs and the times, right? Verse 2, the very same time, it says, 2 Ezra says that when the signs begin appearing, one should understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Quote, visit here has the sense of divine intervention or visitation. This is what we're saying. Okay, and we're going to get more into, the visitation of the angels. All right, the chariots, there's more files of the so-called UFOs that are being east. All right, but this is all tying into what? The Lord's visitation, divine intervention that's about to happen. Okay. Quote, visit here has the sense of divine intervention or visitation. The passage is describing a transition from ordinary human history toward a period in which the Most High begins bringing the consequences of human wickedness and fulfilling what was previously spoken, right? That's 2 Ezra 15, right? 2 Ezra 15:5. And it reads, behold, saith the Lord, Yahushua, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction, all right, which these things are being brought forth now. All right, the sword, okay, you got a world war, okay, you got a biological warfare, okay, you got civil unrest, okay, you got plagues, pestilence, disease, famine, all right, death, destruction, all those things are being brought forth now. Okay. Verse 6, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their works and their hurtful works are fulfilled. So now it's time for the Lord to bring forth the judgment. Okay, as we just read, right? Going back, what did it say? It said the passage is describing a transition from ordinary human history toward a period in which the Most High begins bringing the consequences of human wickedness and fulfilling what was previously spoken, right? 2 Ezra 15:7. Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, right? So the Lord, he's not holding back no more. Now it's time for the Lord to work. Okay, for they have made void thy laws, the scriptures say, man. All right. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. All right. There's no fear of the Lord. There's no reverence of the Most High. You know, People in this time are extremely bold in wickedness and rebellion, you know. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves, you see. No fear of the Lord whatsoever. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually, man. All right, and that would have to be us, right? That are continually sighing and crying for all the wickedness that's being done in the midst thereof. All right, you see, it says, and therefore saith the Lord, Yahweh Shemir Shai, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Right, and the Lord said that in Luke 18. Right, just thinking about that he was going to avenge his elect speedily, right? This is Luke 18, and this is Luke 18 and 7. It says, and shall not the Most High avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? See? Verse 8, it says, Luke 18 and 8, I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on earth, right? Because when the Lord comes back at that time, all right, the earth is going to be, you know, in complete desolation, man. You know? So let's go back here. All right, last point. It says, this is important. The signs aren't presented as random disasters, right? So everything that's going on across the planet Earth is not random, all right? It's all the will of the Lord. And that's part of the signs that he gave us that determine his return, his grand visitation to the planet Earth, all right? This is important. The signs aren't presented as random disasters. They are presented as evidence that the prophetic timetable is moving toward its appointed conclusion. See? All right. It's all leading to what? The manifestation of the end. Okay. Let's see what else we got. It says 3 earthquakes and uproars of the people. This is one of the most striking portions when there should be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. There are 2 categories: physical upheaval, earthquakes, disturbances in the natural world; social upheaval, uproars of the people; civil disorder, unrest, rebellions, societal instability. All right, all these things are playing out now. Okay, people are rebelling against authority. They're coming against their local governments and whatnot. You know, you see a lot of that going on in Europe. All right, protests. You know, cities on fire. Okay. It says this resembles Yahushua's description in Luke 21:10-11, where he speaks of nations shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom and great earthquakes, right? It says in Luke 21:25, upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity. It says, so 2 Ezra 9 fits into a broader biblical pattern where natural disturbances and human disturbances occur together, all right? Everything is happening at once, simultaneously, you know. Importantly, however, this does not mean every earthquake or protest automatically fulfills the prophecy. The text is describing these things as part of a larger constellation of signs, right? Number 4, the signs are spoken from the beginning. Ezra is told that these things were invented in his generation. The Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. The message is that prophetic history has been embedded in God's revelation from the beginning. That is significant because Scripture repeatedly presents history as moving towards an appointed conclusion. Example, Isaiah 46:10, declaring the end from the beginning. The biblical concept is therefore not that history is spiraling randomly out of control. Rather, the Most High knows the destination of history before humanity reaches it. All right, it's already been, like he said, it's already been declared from the beginning. All right, it says Let's read a little bit more here. Number 5, all that is made have a beginning and an end. This is the central philosophical statement of the passage. For like all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end. Second Ezra establishes a principle. Creation has an appointed beginning, therefore it also has an appointed conclusion, right? Human civilizations often behave as though their systems will continue indefinitely. Political powers, economies, kingdoms, institutions, technological civilizations, etc. But this passage says the world's present order itself has an end. This is consistent with Matthew 24:14, and then the end shall come, and 2 Peter 3:10, which describes the coming day of the Lord and the dramatic transformation of the present order, right? And I was just thinking about that one in 2 Ezra 6, where the Lord said all things will be ended by him. I'm roughly paraphrasing. Let me get it. All right. So this is 2 Ezra 6 and 6. It says, then did I consider these things, and they were all made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they should be ended, and by none other. You see that? So as the Lord, set things up, things are also ended by him. He's in control of everything is the point I'm making. All right. By me also they should be ended, and by none other. Right. Verse 7. Then answered I and said, what should be the parting asunder of the times? Or what should be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth, right? Meaning what should be the dividing of the age? All right. And this all ties into what? The signs that we're talking about here. All right. The point, verse 8, it says, and he said unto me from Abraham unto Isaac, and when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the hill of Esau, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, right? So these signs really tie into what? The end of Esau's world, man. All right. And the beginning of Jacob that followeth. Okay. This is what we're talking about. Right. The signs, the eclipses, blood moons, planetary alignments. All right. The sighting of the chariots, the angels, things that can't be explained, all of that. It's all tying into the end of Esau's world, man. That's the point. All right. Okay. Number 6, beginnings and wonder, endings and effects and signs. This is perhaps the most profound verse. The times also the highest have planned beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. This passage describes 2 bookends, the beginning, wonder and powerful works, the ending, effects and signs. In other words, God's prophetic periods don't necessarily announce themselves with a single unmistakable event. They develop through observable effects and signs. All right. Like I said earlier, part of being occupied in prophecy is, observing the effects and signs. All right. That the Lord has given us. Think of it like a prophetic progression. Signs begin, signs accumulate, conditions intensify, the appointed end approaches, divine intervention becomes manifest. This is why verse 1 says to measure the time diligently, right? Let's see what else we got. So it says the major message of 2 Ezra 9, 1 through 6. The passage is essentially saying, don't ignore the signs. Don't assume the present world order will continue forever. Like Esau, he thinks that his let me get that. He thinks that his world is going to continue forever, Psalm 49 and 11, and it reads, their inward thought is, and this is the inward thought of the Edomites. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, right? And their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names, right? So Esau is in a rude awakening, and he's finding it out now. This is why they're panicking. All right, they're sick about the fact that that they're losing their power, man. That their influence over the world is fading away. The Most High has stripped that power from these devils, man. Okay? It says, finishing it out here, right? It says, again, don't ignore the signs. Don't assume the present world order will continue forever. Watch the progression of events, compare them with what was already prophesied, and recognize that history is moving toward an important conclusion. And there is an important warning here. This passage does not tell Ezra to calculate the exact date. Instead, it teaches him to recognize the season, right? Again, you got to know what time and season you're in. All right? This parallels Yahushua's words in Matthew 24, verses 32 through 33. Now learn the parable of the fig tree. When the signs appear, the lesson is to recognize proximity, not necessarily to calculate a precise day. Okay? It says, a powerful way to summarize the passage, 2 Ezra 9, 1 through 6 presents prophecy as a timeline, beginning, prophetic signs, increasing earthly effects, social and natural upheaval, recognition of the appointed season, divine visitation, end of the present order. All right. So it says in verses 7 through 8, immediately continue the thought by explaining that those who remain faithful and endure are the ones who will ultimately receive salvation. So the purpose of recognizing the signs isn't mere curiosity about the future. It is intended to produce repentance, endurance, diligence, and faithfulness. You see? So I thought that was pretty heavy, just to add in there. All right. But let's move on here. All right. Because we were talking about the angels, the visitation of the Lord. Right. More files are being released. So this is from collapse.news. It says Trump administration releases 5th batch of UFO files, including new videos and reports, right? So more stuff is coming out. Okay. It says, let's try to just summarize it here. Let's see what we get. Bear with me. Let's get a quick summary on this. Hold on 1 second. Let's see what we got. All right. 1 second here. Okay, a lot of things is coming out, man. And we know these devils gonna be throwing, AI in there to try to bring forth the confusion, right? But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, through the spirit of discernment, all right, we're gonna be able to tell, what's real and what's fake. All right. So it says overview of the declassified release. The Pentagon has released its 5th tranche of declassified UFO or UAP files containing 41 documents, images, and videos from agencies including the FBI, CIA, and Pentagon, with records spanning from 1950 to 2026. So they got all types of stuff, man, that they, kept suppressed from the public. But now we're in a time where, truth is being declared, these things are being declassified, right? The directive, the declassification, follows a February 2026 executive order from President Donald Trump directing the Department of War to release government files on unidentified aerial phenomena. Government stance: Secretary of War Pete Hegseth stated that the release is a commitment to unprecedented transparency to address long-standing public speculation. All right. Let's see what else we got. It's talking about the different sightings there. Yeah. So let's get into the videos here, man. Just wanted to open up with that there. So check this out, man. More signs from the heavens. The Lord is showing that divine intervention is here. This is from the 3rd phase of the moon. We used to do a lot of videos, going into this channel here. It's been a little while since I touched on it. But they have pretty good videos going into the chariots, the sightings around the world. All right. So this is jaw-dropping UFO videos are so clear, people are freaking out 2026. And this is 3 days ago.
Third Phase of Moon. You've got Blake and Brent Cousins, and we're going over the crazy UFO videos that just come in to Third Phase of Moon. Let's get to it. Buckle up. This is coming out of Tucson, Arizona. Broad daylight sighting of a metallic object just hovering in the air. Take a look at this. The original to the left, I blew it up to the right. You can see how high it is up in the sky to the lower portion of your left. That's original footage. Look how small it is up there. This thing's huge, Brent. What's going on?
Yeah, when you get a good close-up, that's when things get very interesting. You see these kind of wings. I think you can count maybe 4 of them going kind of adjacent of the craft. And you can almost see, I think you notice this kind of orb blinking in and out of whatever seems to be the bottom of this, whatever it is. And it looks metallic. It almost looks like this thing's made out of stainless steel. It looks heavy. This is amazing footage. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that anomalous orb that pops in and out just right below it. We're slowing it down. You see it dissipate in and out. And what we're looking at, it almost looks something out of an Elon Musk SpaceX project, but I don't think so. I don't think SpaceX has this in their assets. I don't see any means of propulsion coming off this thing, any Raptor engines or anything, but I do see that subtle orb just hanging in and out. And look how high it is up in the sky. Once again, the original down on the lower portion to the left, you can see the black dot. There it is. I'm zoomed up all the way, probably about 1,000%. This thing has got to be at least 100 feet in length.
Yeah, hey, high in the clouds, you know. He rideth upon the wings of the wind. Psalms 104, let me get that. Psalm 104:1, it says, bless the Lord. O my soul. O Lord, my power, thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty. Who covers thyself with light as with a garment, who stretcheth out the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, see? Who walketh upon the wings of the wind, you see that? So this is how the Lord moves, all right, through the heavens, you know?
Yeah, look at that thing just remaining static. This thing, it looks like it weighs, I don't know, 5,000, 10,000 pounds. It looks heavy as it just kind of rotates too. Now the big question is, what kind of propulsion is keeping this thing up in the sky? Look at that. It's slowly rotating. This isn't a balloon.
What's going on in Tucson, Arizona? I know there's a lot of sightings in Arizona, but this is one of the better ones that I've seen. Again, broad daylight, crystal clear. Like we've been saying this whole month now, I don't think they're hiding anymore. I think the game is on, and maybe they're not wanting to wait around for these trashy tranche drops from the government.
Was zur Hölle ist das? Was zur Hölle ist das? Was hier in der Luft? What the fuck?
Right, let's get a close-up, blow things up, get a closer look at this object just hovering in the sky. I don't think it's an advertisement banner. It could be some kind of mocked up helium balloon, but I don't know, man. It's just hanging there. It has this metallic orb sitting on top of it, this metallic feature, and it's just hovering there, static in the sky.
Yeah, a lot of things are happening, man. They can't explain it. Right? It's all the Lord, you know. Psalm 68:17, the chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord, Yahushua, is among them as in Sinai in the holy place, all right? So as we talked about, that that grand visitation is happening to the world, and we're going to see even more better footage, okay? This stuff can't be contained. It's all it's being released. Isaiah, and again, faith boosters for the hopeful elect. All right. Time is winding down. All right. Isaiah 31 and verse 5, the point. Okay. And it reads, I started at 4, Isaiah 31 and 4, for thus saith the Lord, Yehovah Shemir Ushai, spoken unto me. For thus hath the Lord Yehovah Shemir Ushai spoken unto me, like as the lion and the young lion roaring on his prey. When a multitude of shepherds is called forth against him, he will not be afraid of their voice, nor abase himself for the noise of them. So shall the Lord Yehovah Shemir Ushai of hosts come down to fight for Mount Zion and the hill thereof. All right. So the Lord is beginning to come down. All right. The scriptures say, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. All right. That's the angels, the chariots, Verse 5, as birds flying, so will the Lord, Yehovah Shemir Ushai of hosts, defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it. See that? NLT, the Lord of heaven's armies will hover over Jerusalem, and protect it like a bird protecting his nest. He will defend and save the city. He will pass over it and rescue it, man. This is the time, man. All right. The angelic forces are here and they're being seen. Okay.
Right? Yeah, I don't see no tether. And yeah, it looks like a silver dome up on top with this kind of conical bottom to it. It's very strange. You do see a little appendage right there at the bottom, but I don't see a tether attached to it. This thing just seems to be hovering there right in place.
Once again, interesting daylight footage coming into third phase. Buckle up. We've got a lot more videos. Hit that thumbs up. Let's go.
Yeah, that's definitely a chariot in the cloud right there. Right? Like a diamond.
Seems to be trying to camouflage itself within the clouds, but it's not doing a very good job at it. It's actually making itself present. It's weird shape if it's a spacecraft, because it has these weird angles. It's not geometric in shape. It's very strange. Look at that thing.
And it's off at some distance, Brian. I'd imagine it's probably about 2 or 3 miles away, which would make this UFO the size of a football field, maybe even bigger. Now, take a look at this. Another broad daylight sighting. This one's kind of interesting. A super clear shot.
There you go. Footage is getting better and better. All right. The Lord is beginning to visit the world which he made. All right. I just want to play this last one. You can watch the rest of this. It's about 23 minutes, 24 minutes long. All right. We're not going to play the whole thing. All right. Just checking out some of these clips here.
Something appears behind Earth itself, peering over the horizon. We're getting some close-up looks at this. What the heck is going on? This is absolutely incredible. If I didn't know any better, I would say this is some kind of blast, a massive one, but we haven't heard anything in the major news, so I'd have to rule that out. But what could it be is very, very bizarre. I'm trying to figure out if this is maybe some kind of reflection from within the ISS, but natural formation, maybe possible jets that left this behind, commercial airliner with some trail behind it, but it's weird. It goes into different directions. Maybe this was some kind of rocket that malfunctioned, and you can see the debris move from right to left, and the upper portions create this kind of wing-like effect, but you can almost see like a head on this, a torso, and some legs underneath. Again, I don't think this is CGI by any means. We're looking at it. You can see the refraction.
Yeah, man, this is heavy. Hey, stuff is happening, man. All right. The Lord is here. The angels are here, man. What else can we say? All right. So you can check the rest of that out. You know what I'm saying? It's just, the signs are heavy. All these things are going on that the Lord is beginning to visit the world which he made. All right, and ending in effects and signs, as we just read through the chat. All right, so again, more of a faith booster to the hopeful elect. All right, our time is up and we almost out of here. Shalom.